In this tutorial, I'll be talking about hypertext markup language, better known as HTML. HTML was invented by Timothy Berners-Lee as a way of enabling researchers and scientists, members of the academic and scientific community, to standardize the presentation of information that is shared around the world via the internet. The World Wide Web is the medium through which those documents are shared. HTML is a language or a code that is used to structure that information and to format those documents so that they look the same place no matter what computer is being used and no matter what web browser is being used. A web browser such as Firefox, Safari, Internet Explorer, Chrome, etc. is just simply a computer application that knows how to read HTML and to translate the information within an HTML document so that the page can be rendered on screen as the author of that page created it. So let's take a look real quick at an example of an HTML page. This is a website that's associated with the World Wide Web Consortium, and w3schools.com is a great place to go just to learn more about HTML and all of the other computer languages used to package and present content for online distribution. So you can see over here in the left-hand sidebar, somebody visiting this site can learn more about HTML, HTML5, CSS, CS3, JavaScript, and so forth. So there's a wealth of information on this site that you can go and become very familiar with. Now, what we're seeing is the actual site as the author of this site intended us to see it. But what the computer sees, and I'll have to change viewing modes here. I'm going to go up to Safari to View and go down to View Source. What the computer sees is an HTML document, a document full of just strange text that gives the browser, in this particular case Safari, all of the information that it needs to know how to arrange the various text and graphical elements that are on this page in a specific layout and structure. And so when you go into this page, you'll see that it is just simply text. There's nothing else on here. There's no graphics, no information. And so the first thing you need to understand about HTML is that it really is intended to create a text-based document. You can create it using Microsoft Word or using a simple text-based editing program such as Notepad or TextEdit. And I'm going to jump over to another web page on this particular site, and this site is a reference page intended to teach people about HTML and how it's structured. And so if we look at this table and I scroll down, you can actually see in the left-hand column what are referred to as tags, and then a description of what those tags actually refer to. A tag is the basic component of HTML, and I'm going to jump back over to my PowerPoint presentation to explain what a tag is. So this is an HTML tag. This is a tag intended to define a particular string of text using the heading 1 element or the heading 1 tag in HTML. And so a tag is simply a keyword or a tag name that is surrounded by angled brackets, such as this. This particular tag is the heading 1 tag, abbreviated H1, and the angled brackets are created by depressing the less than and greater than mathematical keys on a standard computer keyboard. Tags usually come in pairs. The first tag is called the start tag or the opening tag, and at the end of the text that you're currently formatting, the person creating the HTML document will put an end tag. An end tag looks identical to the start tag except for the addition of a // following the first angled bracket. So when the computer reads this HTML code, it will know to apply the H1 tag, the structure, to the text that is embedded between the start tag and the end tag. So again, let's look at how this actually works in practice. I'm going to go back to Safari, and I'm going to go to a site called Tinkerbin, tinkerbin.com. And this is a site, as the instructions say on the left-hand side, it's a site that lets you play around with HTML, JavaScript, CSS without actually creating files or uploading them to servers. So what I've done over here is I have a text window where I can type text and I can embed that text between a start and end HTML tag, and then I can look to the output screen over here on the right-hand side to see what effect those tags will have on the text. So the first line of text states, "This is normal text," appears on the right-hand side as just normal text, or what we would call paragraph text in HTML. The second line in my input window, I've created a line called "This is Level 1 Heading," and I've surrounded it by an H1 start tag and an H1 end tag. And you can see that here if I zoom in. There's my H1 start tag, there's my H1 end tag, and over on the output side you can see that this has produced Level 1 heading text, which is fairly large and bold. It's designed to serve as a heading that will be an eye catcher on the web page as somebody begins to navigate through the content. We learned elsewhere in Multimedia Foundations that headings are a good visual aid in creating the visual hierarchy for a page, in giving weight and emphasis to the content on the page to make the page more usable and more easy for the viewer to navigate through the wealth of content that you may be presenting to him or her as they look at the page. Well, I have 6 levels of headings that I can attach to text in a design window, and they go from heading 1, which is the largest, all the way down to heading 6, which is the smallest. And so this line of text over here, if I scroll over to the right, you can see that level 6 tag produces a much smaller size font on screen, and it demotes the emphasis of the text. They're all bold, but the size of the font on the page is defined by which heading tag I've actually applied to it. The one down here in the next line is just simply paragraph text, and that's defined by the paragraph tag. It is the letter P used as the keyword or the tag name surrounded by angled brackets. All right. And the last one down here on the bottom is a nested tag. HTML tags can be embedded inside of other tags. So for example, if I want to create a sentence and then have one word in that sentence stand out as bold text or as italics text, I can go ahead and nest a tag statement within an existing tag, and that's exactly what I did up here. I'll go through this with you. We start with a start paragraph tag, then we have the phrase "this is a," and then when I get to the word nested, I want to make that word stand out as bold text, and so I use the strong tag, the strong HTML tag, as my start tag. Right after that word is over, I put a closing tag, and then the last word of that sentence, which is tag, is reformatted as just plain paragraph text. And so the tags don't actually get rendered out on screen, only the words that are embedded inside those texts with the appropriate formatting. So down here again at the bottom, I've created that. If I want to change that from bold to say italics, I can come over and just simply change the name of the tag, and I'll use the M tag here instead of the strong tag, and you can see the change over on the right hand side on the output. It took that from bold text to italicized text. So understanding how tags work and the basic HTML process is really first and foremost a matter of learning how many different tags there are and how to apply those tags. And again, a great place to start is by going to the World Wide Web Consortium W3 Schools website and looking at the various tags that are available, and there are many of them.